So this is our Swordmaster. I don't know how familiar you guys are with the Swordmaster, but he's our new tank that we just introduced with the High Elf Dark Elf beta, which is currently going on. He's getting great response from the beta forums. Basically, the Swordmaster fills a bit of a dual role. He is a lighter tank, but he's still a tank. He can absorb quite a bit of damage. He uses heavy armor, but he tends to specialize more in anti-magic and in greatswords. So as a result, he might not absorb damage against a boss monster or another person as well because he doesn't have a shield up, so his block rate's really low. But he puts out a little bit more damage, and he can use kind of the innate magical abilities that are there for all the high elves to boost his magical defenses. So he's kind of the tank that you want when you're going against a magic-heavy boss monster in PvE, or the type that's charging the lines or defending against a line of wizards. Whereas you'd want to take an Ironbreaker if it happens to be a line of archers or gunmen or dealing with cannons, or dealing with a really brutal melee monster in PvE. So what we've tried to really do is not earmark one specific tank to be the tank for all situations. We really want players to spread out and have a good diversity, once again, cooperate. So the Swordmaster kind of fills that role of hey, I'm a good off tank, or I make a great anti-magic tank, or I'm going to be used in this role while other people are used in another role. The Swordmaster's mechanic is the Blade Dance. The Blade Dance is essentially, if you guys are fairly familiar with Camelot, we've done a modified version of the ability chains from Camelot. We didn't want to do every melee character with ability chains, and we didn't want to lock players into, if I start with A, I got to go to B, and then I got to go to C, and then I got to go to D. It's a really engaging system, and the players liked it, but we wanted it to be a little bit more flexible. So what we did is we switched him over to a custom chain system. Let me jump to a little place over here to the side where the guards won't attack my little test dummy. Test dummy here. Hold up. So what happens with the Swordmaster is, as you can see, I went ahead and set up his hotbars already. He's got his 3 different lines, obviously. He's got the Path of Cain, the Path of Vol, and the Path of Hoeth. The Path of Vol is all based around protection. It tends to relate more towards abilities that reduce your target's chance to do damage to you or increase your own defenses or your group's defenses. Path of Cain is all about more of offense. It's more of a greatsword specialty. It does have some greatsword specific stuff, where Vol has some shield specific stuff in it. It's more about keeping you doing more damage or lowering your opponent's defenses. The Path of Hoeth is kind of his anti-magic line, which allows him extra flexibility. He can change some of his attacks into magical attacks, which will ignore armor but go against resistances, so he can switch it up. He can put a magical shielding wall around him that absorbs X amount of magic damage and X amount of physical damage. In this case, it will absorb more magic than it will physical. And basically, between the 3 paths, players can kind of switch it up and decide what they want to do. However, within all of the paths, there are 3 types of attacks. There are regular attacks, which move you into what we call an improved balance state, which moves you along into the next chain. So when I go ahead and use Graceful Strike, you'll see that the next chain lights up and becomes available. There's a lot of different options here across all 3 paths, so players can build custom chains from it. So I might have used Graceful Strike, which is just a very quick attack that does damage in a dot. It has the added effect for when I'm tanking monsters to have additional hate, so it might be my default attack when tanking. But it's a very good attack because it leaves a dot while you're doing the rest of your chain. But then you can follow up into any number of attacks. In the Path of Vol, specifically, we've got Eagle's Flight, which is what we call an improved balance attack that deals damage and increases your parry rate. So once again, it follows along the line of the defensive line. I hit for damage, there's a slow trickle of damage. I hit you again, improve my parry rate, right? And then I finish it off with Dragon's Talon. Dragon's Talon is what we call a perfect balance attack, which is a finisher. It ends the chain and it starts you all over again. And what it does is this one, in this particular case, releases a combo of 2 blows, 2 big hits, and it also has a chance of reducing the amount of damage your target can output. If you chain it specifically with an ability that uses Taunt, then you get a 100% chance. So it's kind of chains within chains for advanced players. But a very simple combination of a defensive combo would be Graceful Strike, Eagle's Talon, Eagle's Flight, Dragon's Talon. And what happens at the end of that is you've got a small boost to your parry, or a pretty significant short boost to your parry, and you've reduced their damage. So you're not effectively doing a ton of damage, but you're keeping the damage output from going out to your group. So it's good for A, when I'm soloing, or B, when somebody's beating on my healer and I hit him with that 3-hit combo and he's doing much less damage to my healer, who I'm also guarding. Once again, you can then see, so we'll finish this one off. 2 big hits. Ooh, a little bit of animation glitching there. But then you can see, we'll save that for the end. Kane, for example, has Sapping Strike, which drains their AP slowly over time, which basically keeps them from doing any offensive or defensive action because you're draining out their AP. Once again, just moving through it, he has a series of other attacks. Phoenix Wings is his basically Cone AE Greatsword attack. It will hit like 3 players in front. And he can end it with abilities like Crashing Wave or the ever so popular Ether Dance. Ether Dance is what we call a melee channel. It's what happens is the player for a long period of time is doing something. They can be interrupted out against it. So these are types of things you don't want to use when somebody's in your face, but they're running away from you, or you're not the main tank or something like that. You go ahead and trigger this, and for the next 4 seconds, you just lay into them with big hit, big hit, big hit, big hit, big hit, big hit. And it's really quite fun. The last aspect of the Swordmaster, other than the obviously I've got guard and taunt and all the general tank stuff, is his weapon enchantments. He, with each line, has an enchantment associated with it. It adds a slight enchantment to his blade, which will proc various different things. It will also change certain attacks into magical damage. Generally, all the finishers in your arsenal, if you have an blade enchantment on you, will do magic damage instead of physical damage. So a player that kind of, depending on who their target is, they might switch it out every now and again. The penalty I pay for not having magic damage is I don't get the proc off my weapon, but I do more physical damage. I can chew through casters faster. The benefit I have for fighting against a tank is I can throw a magic enchant on my blade. I do magic damage. I go against their magic resist. And it also gives a really nice, where'd the effect go? Come on. Let's pick one that seems to be working correctly. We'll try Nature's Blade. There we are. And then obviously the blade gets a special weapon trail color, and it also gets a nice particle effect that kind of flows off it. In this case, it just leaves that flow off of it. Let's actually see. Let me grab Ensorcelled Flow. That one I know has. Your favorite, Josh's favorite.
The word ensorcelled. Every time we do this presentation,
he giggles.
Like, I recognize that it's a word, but it's one of those words where I go, really? Ensorcelled?
So actually, if you take a look here with Nature's Blade active, his weapon trail. Oh, he had a little auto attack there. His weapon trail is now green. You will see, and his impacts. So he has green weapon trails on everything. If I switch it up to Heaven's Blade, it gets blue weapon trails, so players can see what's going on. And then the other thing, because he's a great weapon tank, he does have a couple of things that are very specific to allowing him to be good with a great weapon. For example, Wall of Darting Steel. Somebody that's more of a shield tank will be able to approach an enemy with a shield and slowly march up and block, 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 block. In his case, Wall of Darting Steel is a anti-ranged and anti-magic. It doesn't block melee attacks per se, but it will block any magic that comes in, and somebody buff me.
No, what happened there was, again, we're on Sigmar and the coders are misbehaving. They have adjusted the rank of the capital city of Altdorf.
And I get the buff.
That applies a buff to everyone within the faction that has just had a city rank up.
So anyways, the Wall of Darting Steel with the Swordmaster is an anti-magic barrier and anti-arrow barrier. So he can basically throw this up, and it's a very long duration. He can just walk forward with it, walk forward with it, walk forward with it, ping, 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 slowly, obviously. Off a cliff. And then, clear it out at any point of time, as long as he has AP left to do it. Other tanks will get shield walls, will be able to do it that way with using a shield. In his case, it's with a greatsword.